Well, you knew that we were going to have to get kitted up for this, right? You knew we were going to have to. We're taking over the Islanders in 1999, and it's going to go terribly. Absolutely terribly is my guess. But with that, let's get a look at what our team looks like. Obviously, the roster rundown's out there, too. That better be a Johnny T jersey. Oh, you know it is. You know it is. I have 2 John Tavares Islanders jerseys. I didn't burn them because I'm not a loser. Yeah, I feel like just looking at the team's the best way to go. Oh, actually, free agent list. Really quickly. I'm intrigued. Oh, well, that's sad. Top goaltender, Roman Cechmanek. R.I.P. Timmy Thomas. Timothy Jimothy Thomas. 25 years old, so he doesn't have too much development time, but Tim Thomas is there. I like it. You know, we'll come back and look at this, right? We'll come back and look, because I want to see kind of what our situation is on roster. So let's start there. Let us start there and take it from there. So in goal, we have Kevin Weeks and Roberto Luongo. In the system is Wade Flaherty and Steven Valaquette, who isn't really going to be much. He's big, but he isn't really going to do much. So obviously the goal here is to build around Roberto Luongo as our number 1. And then, I mean, Kevin Weeks, you know, the legendary forehead and all. I mean, Lou is our guy. And we will make sure that he is the number 1 goaltender. So we'll turn off auto-rotate for now. There is room for an AHL goalie or 2, I would say. And we have 45 contracts signed. So let's go take a look at who we have for unsigned prospects with goalies, and then also in free agency. Maybe we will sign Tim Thomas. No unsigned goalies on the team right now. That's a shame. All right, so obviously Cechmanek's there, but we don't want him to compete with Luongo. Tim Thomas is the top goalie prospect. Aside from him, though, it's also Nick Backstrom of Minnesota Wild fame, Cristobal Huet, Martin Gerber as the big names. But a Tim Thomas-Nick Backstrom combination in the AHL would actually be pretty good. So I think we can go that direction. And let's send deals to both Tim Thomas and Nick Backstrom to see if we can pick him up. A big shout out to Warrior for the 5 gifted. What a man. What a man, what a man. Warrior, thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. My goodness, my goodness. Defensively. Okay, well, we got Kenny Johnson. And aside from him, it's Zdeno Chara, who we're obviously going to try to build around a bit. Outside of that, it's looking pretty rough. Jamie Rivers, Jamie Heward, Matthew Biron, who's at 19 years old, Eric Cairns, and Ian Herbers. Ian Herbers. In the system, Brewer, Tarnstrom, Giroux. Oh, God, hold on. We do have Eric Brewer, which is good. We'll probably call him up. He's ready to go at an NHL level. Dick Tarnstrom, Ray Giroux, Radek Martinek, Aris Bremanis. What a name. Kevin Dahl, Vladimir Shebaturkin, Ray Schultz, and Evgeny Korolev. Oh, my God, we don't have too much there at all, do we? I got to be honest, I don't think we're going to have room to sign any defenders based on how many we already have. So quickly, I want to look at our unsigned players in that regard and then also look at free agency. So Branislav Meze and Christian Kudrock, 18 years old, 6'7", big dude. Meze is not bad, but we're not going to sign him until his deal's up, I would say. Well, then play through junior at least through this year. Shout out to Matthew, by the way, with the old gifted sub. First gifted sub, Matthew. Thank you for that. Top defenseman. Sakaris, Lubomir Vishnofsky, Nick Wallin. Oh, man, Vishnofsky wouldn't be a bad signing. Is he the top prospect? He is at a high 4. Mark Streitz out there, Marek Zidlichky, Brian Pothier, Andreas Lilja. God damn, there's some decent names out there. I think we have to I'm not going to sign him. I want to, but I'm not going to. I don't like starting franchises by immediately trading away people to make room for other people. So I'm not going to do that. The goalies, it made sense. But like I said, defensively, And I know he was an Islander in real life. It's fine, though. All right, so really quickly then, this team. Eric Brewer should be an Islander this season. Char Rivers. Biron could probably be sent down. Doesn't have to go to junior. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, Herbers could be the depth, or it could be Dickie Tarnstrom. Maybe it should be Tarnstrom. Send down Herbers. Yeah, like I said, the amount of dudes that have to trade away in the AHL to make room, that's just the type of stuff I don't like doing. So, we'll leave the defense as it is. For the forwards, right wing side, Mariusz Czerkowski, who is our best player right now. Bill McCult and Steve Webb. Old Steve Spiderweb. No rules. We're just running with it. In the system, Mark Lawrence, Vladimir Orsaw, and Chris Marinucci. Not ideal. We can definitely call up Lawrence, though. Webb's 24, so we might as well play him. Left wing side is Brad Isbister, Josh Green, and Mikhail Anderson. Fair enough, AJ. I mean, hey, think about it if you didn't. Left wing side in the AHL, Nicholas Anderson, Scott Pearson, Daniel LaCroix, and Peter Amika. We'll call up Anderson when we're able. And then for centers, for the moment, let's send down these two just so I can call up Anderson. And at center, we have Claude Lapointe, Dave Scatchard, Olli Jokinen, 21-year-old Olli Jokinen, Timmy Connolly at 18, and Mats Lindgren. Damn. Okay. And then in the AHL, Johan Davidson at 24, Ted Drury, Dmitry Nabokov, Yuri Dopita, Chris Ferraro, Jason Krogh, Steve LaRouche rounds it out. If we were to call up Drury, we got a lot of centers that are NHL caliber. Low-end NHL caliber, but still NHL caliber. Just to look at this, I gotta decide how I want to set up this team. A couple people probably get sent down. We'll go best lines for the moment. I wanted to look at who else was unsigned, even though I don't really feel like we have that much space. So for forwards, it is Taylor Pyatt, Uri Koldnick, and Matthias Weinhandel. Okay. So yeah, we don't have anybody like insane in the system who's coming up. Draft picks you can't set to be fully accurate at the time, so it's just every team has 1 through 7 to kick off. Because again, we still can't manually move draft picks in this game, because why the fuck would we want to do that? Both for a flashback or a modern roster. Who would possibly want to move draft picks? Christ. All right, so do we have someone who is supposed to be on left wing that's not on that side? No. So it's Anderson, who's a depth forward. screen. Actually, you know what? I'll go to the other screen. It'll be easier. I'm going to bring in Yashin from Ottawa. I don't plan on making the same mistakes that Mike Milbury made. I'm going to try to avoid them if possible. So let's see. If we consider Isbister a right wing. 2, 3. Consider Claude Lapointe and Drury left wings. That means Nicholas and Mikhail Anderson, huh? Just call up like Scott Pearson or an enforcer and Daniel LaCroix. Ooh, call up the enforcer. Send down the Andersons. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that looks pretty good. You call it a mistake. I mean, from him, it was genius. Genius, I tell you. All right, so we'll get LaCroix, old Lacroix on the other side as Mr. switches. So left wing side's going to be a little bit weak, but it does get Josh Green, only a medium bottom 6, but it gets Josh Green into a decent little spot. Stacks up that right wing side pretty well. Gives Tim Connolly somebody to work with because we will run... Ooh, or do we? Same overall, but Connolly is younger? Maybe we go Connolly, Tchaikovsky, Oliokin with Brad Isbister. It's a bad team. It's a bad team, but damn it, we're going to do the best we can. Then defensively, Dick Tarnstrom's the healthy scratch, which is fine. We have like all lefty, by the way, too. We are going to go with Kenny Johnson and Zdeno Chara. And then Eric Brewer will be with Jamie Rivers, Jamie Heward with Eric Cairns. That works for me. That works. So, yeah, again, big project here is Zdeno Chara. No doubt about that. The goaltenders, Luongo and Weeks, will have to turn off auto-rotate to make sure that Luongo plays as much as possible. Again, there's no negative to just running Luongo 82 games a year because there's no stamina system. Both those guys would be better off developing. Yuri Dopira, congratulations. You're going to be the healthy scratch here. And again, could maybe justify signing one forward, but not really. We'll come back to the AHL and Chicago there in a second. But in terms of the free agent forwards, obviously the highest rated is going to be Robert Reichel, CJ Vaborny, Wes Walls. But the big prospects, Andy McDonald, Anaheim Ducks fan. Big shout out to J Squared for the 26 months. How are you, my man? Good to see you. Richard Park in there, another former Islander, Eric Perrin. Again, don't think we're going to immediately sign anybody. I want to leave a couple of roster spots open for potential trades. So, as franchise fixers, custom rosters help a lot. Right now, if you're going to play franchise, I can only recommend using either Vassie's rosters, because mine aren't out yet. Vassie does an amazing job, again, giving me plenty of competition on the modern side. Or Snipes rosters for a flashback experience. 100%. 100%. I don't know why I went all the way down to the bottom when auto rotates at the top, but that's okay. So all we have to do now is fix up the AHL. And honestly, I turned off computer trade offer notifications. We should turn those back on because I'm going to fully open up the block and just see what offers we get sent. Normally, it's annoying to do that, but we are not afraid to tear this team down, essentially. Matthew with the big 5. The big 5 gifted. Matthew, thank you for that. My goodness.
For those about to score.
And a happy holidays to you. Shoosh. Actually, with the AHL, we should wait until the goalies are signed. Then we'll fix that. So, ye old trade block. Ye old trade block. clear this out entirely, and then fully open up the block here. You know, if there's the right deal, I'm willing to make a move. Too, getting spoiled before Christmas. Well, you know. It's going to be really funny if I upload this in, like, March. It's going to be funny. Actually, again, just like we've done with all the flashback rosters, we need to be looking for players of a relatively high caliber here. So, good prospects only, please. Actually, I want higher than a medium 9. I don't even know if that's enough for me. Give me medium top 6. If I'm going to get bombarded with trade offers, we want it to be for young talents that we can continue to build around for years to come. So I am excited to see what we can do. And then obviously we still have Luongo, or the Christmas plans with the wife, to just fucking relax. It has been such a stressful year in so many ways. Like, it's been an awesome year of traveling. We got married. It's been great. But at the same time, now we're both ready to just be like, let's just sit on the couch and just not do anything. And it sounds amazing. We do not have Rick DiPietro. He is in the draft. You ever crave a bowl of Fruity Pebbles but have neither milk nor said pebbles? Yes, Texky, I do. I do. Well, maybe not Fruity Pebbles. Shout out to Fruit Loops, though. Shout out to Fruit Loops. Matthew, another gifted sub now, up to 7. All of them tonight. Matthew, my goodness, thank you for that. I hit the wrong button. I did. All right. I fudged it. Oh, I blew it. I set the surplus as the wants, and the wants as the surplus. I'm the worst. I'm so bad at this. Oh my God. The amount of goddamn times that I have done that on the older NHLs that we've been playing recently. Yeah, exactly. That's what Mike did in real life. I was smart enough to catch my mistake. Mike just left it like that, and that explains why the Islanders have had very few playoff appearances over the years. Sorry to Islanders fans. I like you. I'm rooting for you. Well, I draft DiPietro. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to say no. But do we need Rick DiPietro if we have Roberto Luongo? And I don't know this yet, so anybody who's played it, hey, don't spoil it for me. I don't know how good Snipe made Rick DiPietro. Did he make him accurate to the hype level of the time? Or did he give him an accurate rating? I don't know. I'm excited to find out. I'm very excited to find out. Okay, there we go. That is properly set up now. Last thing we need is to see if we are bringing in Tim Thomas and Nick Backstrom, as we immediately got a trade offer for Mariusz Czerkawski. A second and a third is not enough for an 84 overall player, though. Not even close. 2 seconds. Oh, boy, we're about to get a lot of offers for Czerkawski. Caps, what's up? How are you? Backstrom said yes. We still haven't heard from Timmy. There is Timmy. Like I said, there are some other free agents out there. I don't like signing all the top dudes, and you know, you got to let some people go to other spots, you know? So we'll call up Wade Flaherty to be the NHL backup. And in the AHL with goaltenders, we'll be bringing in Tim Thomas as the starter and Nick Backstrom as the backup. We still have to optimize this if we can. Do we have any defensemen who aren't complete trash? Nope. It doesn't really matter then. Cool. What about forwards? Is there anybody that we should actually care about here in terms of getting into the lineup? Not really. However, I do have space for 1 or 2 forwards. So let's go look at the free agent list here and see if we can pull anything. All right, so Andy McDonald is still available. So no doubt we'll go for Andy McDonald. A lot of teams are interested, so all we can do right now is throw our name into the hat. And then Kayanik, Bahonos, or David Vaborny, who's NHL caliber. I don't really have space for David Vaborny. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I do, but I don't. Actually, that's fair. We do stand some Wade Dubielowicz. If we don't go for Peter Kayanik, it would make sense for it to be Richard Park. Yeah, Kayanik at 24. We're going to go for Kayanik here. Throw our name into the hat for him, too. Like I said, we actually do have the space that I didn't think that we had for replacement level NHL forwards. So let's march. Let's move. Andy McDonald accepted. As we get a trade offer, Lindgren and Green for a 4th and a 7th. I'm going to wait on that, too. I don't think we have to take the very first offer. Kayanik said no. Lindgren and Rivers for a 4th and a 5th. I think our picks are going to be more valuable than that. Probably. So I still have room for one more forward here. And we'll be looking at Park based on the other moves that happened. Let's go for Richard Park, who, of course, was an Islander in his career. Doesn't look like we'll have any competition for him. Kenny Johnson, Jamie Heward, and a 6th for a 2nd and 3rd. No, I want more. I want more for the half-decent players that we have if we're going to get those offers. All right. So, AHL, we know we can just go best lines for defense's sake. All right. It does put Chris Marinucci in. Are we worried about LaRouche? No, we're not. And we're not worried about Mika either. Let's optimize this by potential, which I don't know how much it's actually going to matter. Majority of chat probably wasn't even alive in 1999. You're probably correct. You are probably correct. Let's keep that low 9 in the Bach off there. All right, and then we got the 2 medium 9s. So, Orsaw, McDonald, and Park. That's a pretty good top line. 95 faceoffs for Jason Krogh. Jesus. We don't have a great centerman for that 3rd line, and then 4th line. That'll do. Okay. It's pretty good. Only change we need to make is putting Radek Martinek on that top unit. And then goalies, Thomas and Backstrom. All right, we're looking good. I think we're looking pretty decent here. I would still expect this to be terrible, frankly. But given our kind of strategy of tearing things down a little bit before we build it up, we're where we want to be. Again, coaching staff, there's no major changes that'll be available here. There never are. The draft class, though. Do I want to leave it as a surprise? Nah, I want to know. I want to know. Number 1 ranked, Marian Gaborik. Behind him, I imagine computer generated, obviously, Nasir Bulbrook. But then you also have Danny Heatley, Scott Hartnell, and Justin Williams as the top 5. Tremendous. Then you get Alexander Froloff, Ron Hainsey in the mix as well. Anton Vermette, John Michael Lyles, and Nicholas Kronwall in the top 10. This does include goalies. Goalies show up on this menu. Got Brad Boyes, Chris Kunitz, Paul Martin, Anton Volchenkov, Rostislav Klesla, Lombardi. Some dude named Henrik Lundqvist. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Generated dude named Carter Pyatt. Jarrett Stoll. Generated dude named Grayson Blackburn. Curtis Foster. Boo. Scumbag. Boo. Marcus Pettersson is going to be generated. Renee Bork. Jim Vandermeer. Rap. Boo. Boo. All the booze. Shout out to Matthew, by the way. Another gifted sub. What a man. Off of Vorobiev, Nick Schultz, Brooks Orpik. So, who knows how far down the order Rick DiPietro is. So that increases the chance, I would say, of us landing it. Matthew, thank you very much for the generosity, by the way. I appreciate it. Have yourself a good night, and we will catch you later. For now, let's start this season, I'd say. I think we're looking okay. I think we are. So we start off our season against New Jersey. I do want to take a look at who signed where, if it's still there. Only going to mention the big names, like Mark Rycroft. Like, they're familiar names if you're familiar with the era. Huey, Gerber, Wes Walls. Yannick went to Detroit. Roman Czechmanek to Chicago. Robert Reichel to Boston. Marek Sidlichky went to St. Louis. Mark Streit to Tampa. So Marek Sidlichky goes to St. Louis. So certainly looking to be bad is the best here. Who's their captain, by the way? Is it Tchaikovsky? It is not. It is Kenny Janssen. That makes sense. Take her with the old gifted sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's get it going here. Let's get it going. Again, God, the Devils are just going to be stacked, man. Brodeur, Stevens, Niedermeyer. We have looked through the rosters before. For those that have missed it, though, I am going to go through what the lines look like at the start of the season. So if that's not of interest to you, hey, I'll see you in 10 minutes. But just to showcase what other teams look like here on opening day. This is the Ducks lineup, obviously highlighted by Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne at the top. They do not have a lot of depth surrounding them, though. They'll shout out to someone like Marty McInnes, who is a pretty underrated player of his time. Take our Islanders jersey, John Tavares. Defense, Alain Olesen, Havlid, Marshall, Tverdovsky on the third pair. That's a choice. The Ducks goaltender, Guy Hebert. And Dominic Roussel next to him. Fair enough. You have the Arizona Phoenix Coyotes at the time. Keith Tkachuk, Jeremy Roenick, Danny Briere, Shane Doan, Travis Green, Juha Ullinen. Again, they weren't that bad. They were making the playoffs consistently in this era. Lume, Numanen. Again, the Coyotes really weren't that bad at this time. Hobby Bullen and Sean Burke in goal, which is a really good tandem for the Coyotes. Trevor Letowski, the only scratch. The Atlanta Thrashers. Andy Brunette, Ray Ferraro. I didn't realize they had golds. Honestly, the Thrashers might have been better to start off with than what we have with the Islanders. Christ. Steve Stais is up there again. Started as a forward. Eventually dropped back to defense. This is pre-Kovalchuk. Yeah, Kovalchuk's the 2001 draft. So he's still 2 years away. And he might just end up being an Islander. Defense, Frantisek Caberlet and Gord Murphy, the top two. Oh my God. Again, if you ever wondered, man, why does it feel like Vegas and Seattle got these really good teams out of the gates? It's because teams like Nashville and Atlanta, Columbus got absolutely boned by what expansion drafts looked like at the time. Absolutely boned. It's a miracle that a team like Minnesota made the playoffs in 2003 and did what they did all the way to the conference final. It's insane. You might call it a Norm miracle. Scratches, Harlock. Paris Fat Vedette. Patrick Stefan. 19 years old, Patrick Stefan, as a healthy scratch. We should acquire him and try to save him. We should try to save Patrick Stefan. Oh, the Bruins, who we nearly were. Samsonov, Allison, Ralston. Again, we were going to be them to save Joe Thornton. Snipe. I love that he was wearing number 6, of course. It's beautiful. It's before he changed. I actually have a little Joe Thornton figurine wearing the number 6. It's awesome. I think it's at my parents' house, though. I honestly, there's a chance I'm going to do this franchise off stream. It's just being the Bruins of this era. McLaren, Jonathan Girard, the pride of St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Don Sweeney. Goalies, Lord Byron Defoe and John Graham. Not bad. Darren Van Imp. Let's see. The Buffalo Sabres. Miro Chatan. Oh my God, the abilities on the Sabres. Whew. Young J.P. Dumont. Again, they did just make a Stanley Cup final. Fair enough. Their defense, Zhitnik, Warner, William Patrick, Schmelik. Goaltender, some dude named Dominic Hasek. Dominic Footrest. It's ridiculous. Jay McKee, Eric Rasmussen there. Another team we almost chose, the Calgary Flames. Savard and the Ginla. I hope they go a long way. Mr. Candace Cameron, Valerie Bure. And a youngster fresh out of college by the name of Martin St. Louis. Never heard of him. The defense, Phil Housley, Derek Morris, Daryl Shannon, Tommy Abilene, a young Robin Regier as well. This Calgary team would have been fun. 37-year-old Grant Fuhrer. Jesus. What a team. Carolina. I mean, again, yeah, I knew they'd have some abilities on that team. Shout out to Marty Jelena. Bates Battaglia, winner of the Amazing Race, Bates Battaglia. Unbelievable. Glenn Wesley at 31. Paul Coffey at 38. And this guy, you know, he scored a shootout goal once. But in this era, we didn't even know what the hell a shootout is. Urban goal, Mark Fitzpatrick. Curtis, father of Jake Lecision. Jeff Daniels, not that one. Chicago, Michael Nylander. Alexei Jamnov, Tony Amani, Eric Daze. Eric Daze, who was, once Tony Amani goes, he's the best player on this team. Bob Probert and Eddie Olczyk on the third line. Love to see it. Love to see it. Defense, Brian McCabe, Boris Mironov. Not much else there for Chicago. Goaltenders, they signed Roman Cechmanek. They still have Jocelyn Thibault there as well. So, fair enough. Colorado, what a team. They wouldn't win the Stanley Cup until the next year and a couple of trades later, but damn, Forsberg, Sakic, Hayduk, Andrechuk, Drury, Deadmarsh, Tanguay. They signed Wes Walls. Ray Bourque and Adam Foote on defense. Sandish, the man dish. Nobody called him that, but me and my friends. Shout out to Greg DeVries. And of course, in goal, some dude named Patrick Roy. It's Patrick Waugh. Come on now. It's Patrick Waugh. Second greatest goaltender of all time, Patrick Waugh. My favorite goalie of all time, but second best of all time. All right. Dallas, because again, the Columbus Blue Jackets didn't exist. And you can't set up future expansions like you can in NBA, unfortunately. So there will be no Columbus. This is what if the NHL stayed at 28 teams for years and years and years. But yeah, what a team. And again, Mike, don't go to Detroit. 10 years time or so, a little bit less. Don't go to Detroit. Don't do it. Defense, Daryl Sador, Zubov, Hatcher. Oh my God, what a team. Dude, this team is so fucking physical too, between Darian Hatcher and Dave Manson. Josh Manson's dad. It's ridiculous. Goaltenders, Manny Fernandez and the Eagle. Old Eddie Belfour. Again, this was a team that had just won the cup, so they are bound to be very good. Speaking of very good, Detroit. Brendan Shanahan, Steve Yzerman, and Sergei Fedorov's the top line. Frankie, we are controlling the Islanders. The god-awful Islanders. This Red Wings team is nuts, dude. It's so good. Obviously, they'd win it again in 2002. Oh, Chelios, you old fuck, skate. 38 years old at the time. What a team. In goal, Chris Osgood and Ken Reggett. Love Ken Reggett. Martin Lapointe, Bruins legend, and Aaron Ward, Bruins legend. Both healthy scratches. Chelios will play for another 10 years. Yep. Future Thrasher. The Oilers, Ryan Smith, Doug Waite, Bill Guerin. Their big three up front. They got Mike Greer, future Sharks GM, and the GOAT, Georges Laraque. Remember when I did a UFC series with a created fighter that was Georges Laraque and I just boxed everybody? I didn't do takedown. I was basically Kimbo Slice. No takedowns, no nothing. Just fists. Just chucking fists. Defense. Hammerlick, Jason Smith, Yanni Niinimaa, Ulanov. The goaltenders, Tommy Salo and Bill Ranford. Tremendous. Shout out to Dan Lacouture and future Hab Chad Kilger. The Florida Panthers, Ray Whitney, Victor Kozlov, and Pavel Bure. Oh, Mark Parrish and everyone's favorite answer for Puck Doku, Mike Sillinger, Rob Niedermeyer. Not that bad of a team. Defense, Yaro Spacek, Robert Schwela, Paul Laus, Hut God. And the goaltender, Mike Vernon and Trevor Kidd. Loved me some Trevor Kidd. I had a Trevor Kidd hockey card where he had like a god tier mustache. I don't know if I can find the picture of Trevor Kidd that I'm thinking of. I can't quite. And of course, later on, he'd go on to have a god tier goatee. This isn't quite the picture I was thinking of, but look at that shit. There's a flavor saver. Man, you're saving up for a fucking month and a half at a time, dog. Jesus. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who needs the mustache when you can have that? The LA Kings. That's Anthrax. Shout to Scotty and the LA Kings. Pretty good team here in LA too. Again, we love some Glenn Murray, one of the most underrated players of all time. And shout out to Bob Corkum, whose name is Bob Corkum, and that's just cool as shit. Defense, of course, Rob Blake wouldn't be on the Kings too much longer. He'd end up getting traded to the Avalanche. Philippe Boucher, Sean O'Donnell, Bruins legend. Goaltenders, Jamie Storr and Stefan Fisets. Got Aki Berg, Yaroslav Modry, and Kelly Buckberger. Names were just better back then. Montreal, Zaku Koivu, Trevor Linden on the top line. Dinah Zubris, just 21 years old. Shane Corson was here. Turner Stevenson. Their defense, Patrice Brisebois was the highest rated. They did have 23-year-old Sheldon Surrey, though. And in goal, Jeff Hackett and Jose Tero, who would steal an MVP away from Jerome McGinley. Patrick Poulin, Francois Bouillon, Scott LeChance. Nashville, not all that long into being a team, of course. Patrick Shelberg, Cliff Ronning, father of a legend, Cliff Ronning. Shout out to X-Tech. We love you. Scott Walker there as well. We don't love him. Greg Johnson, RIP. Tom Fitzgerald, for all the Devils fans out there. 19-year-old David Legwand, or as I like to pronounce it, Legwand. The defense, Lubomir Vishnofsky, who they just signed. Jake Barahowski. Kimo Timonen at 24. Bill Holder, great mustache, as we've talked about before. Carlos Skrasic. David Legwand was never not in his 30s. Mike Dunham and Tomas Vokoun in goal. Imagine Nashville going from like Tomas Vokoun, then you end up with frickin' Pekka Rinne and UC Saar. Like, God, they've pretty much always had good goaltending, at least in Nashville. Oh, New Jersey. New Jersey, who would win the Stanley Cup in this season IRL. You can see why, and it's because they have 20-year-old Scott Gomez, the pride of Alaska. Jason Arnott, who would score the cup-clinching goal for Dallas the year before, right? If I'm not mistaken. Peter Sikora, my goat. My kingdom for Peter Sikora. My absolute goat. Claude Lemieux's there, too. Good for him. And Jay Pandolfo. Shout out to him. Bruins legend. And, football! Not that John Madden. But, you know, Pride of Alaska, you mean Jeremy Swayman. I do, actually. Their defense is fucking hilarious. It's so stacked. Niedermeyer, Rafalski, and Scott Stevens. Snipe, I gotta be honest, I know why, but I cannot believe you didn't go with gold truculence for Scott Stevens. I can't believe it. Just for the memes alone. And of course, in goal, Martin Brodeur. Chris Terreri behind him. I didn't want to be an ass to Flyers fans, so that's understandable. Got to Colin White. The New York Rangers had Adam Graves, Peter Nedved, Theo Fleury up top. The greatest of all time, Alexander Daig, who was somehow getting a documentary about him. It'll probably be pretty good. Shout out to Kevin Stevens as well. Defense, Brian Leach, Kevin Hatcher, Matthew Schneider. Rangers aren't bad. Sylvain Lefebvre. Goaltenders, Kirk McLean and Mike Richter. The Richter scale. It's off the chart. Shout out to Manny Malhotra as well. Love ourselves some Manny Malhotra. Ottawa, Sean McEachern, a dude who will not be an Islander, at least not with me trading for him, Alexei Yashin, and Daniel Alfredson, young Marian Hossa, Radek Bonk, Vinny Prospel. This Islanders team, I was going to say the Sens team, it's ridiculous. And the Islanders will probably not be making a trade with them. Defense, Wade Red and Jason York, a young Chris Phillips, which sounds like an oxymoron to say young Chris Phillips, but goaltenders Tom Barrasso and Patrick Lalime. Sens team has the same coaches now. Yeah, you're right. This was a team coached by the same man who just replaced DJ Smith. It's ridiculous. Flyers were fucking good, man. LeClaire, Lindros, Recchi, Rick Tocchet, Keith Primo, and another one of my goats, Simon Gagne. Damon Lankow. Keith Jones, Mr. President. Ruslan Fedotenko as well. Love ourselves some Ruslan Fedotenko. Top defenseman Eric Desjardins. Montreal legend Luke Richardson was on this defense. Shout out to Zarly Zalapski, who still had one of the best names of all time. And John Van Beesbrook and Brian Boucher in goal. Okay. Gino Ojic is a scratch. Adam Burt. You got two first names. Pittsburgh, Martin Straka, Robert Lang, Jaromir Jagr, one of the highest rated players in the league. Also got Alex Kovalev on that team. Tom Chorsky. Pat Falloon. Got Yuri Slager on defense. Future Bruin, Ian Moran. Love Ian Moran. Goalie is Ron Tugnut and J.S. O'Ban. Yes, there was a goalie by the name of Tugnut. For you kids out there, that's real. That was his name. He's still alive. Shout out to Ron Tugnut. Bob Bugner, recent NHL head coach. Oh, the Sharks. Jeff Friesen, Vinny Domfus, Owen Nolan, super young Patty Marlowe, Tony Granato, Stefan Matteau, and Mark Osterm, future Bruin. Scored a Winter Classic winning goal. Brad Stewart, future Bruin, for a cup of coffee. We don't have to talk about it. Gary Suter. What a team. What a team. Then goalie-wise, Evgeny Nabokov and Steve Shields. Damn good tandem. Dave Lowry is the scratch. St. Louis, Pavel Demitra, R.I.P., Pierre Turgeon. Scott Young. Michael Hanzus was there. Craig Conroy, current GM in Calgary. Jochen Hesch. Jamal Mayers was there too. Defense, Pronger and McInnes, which is still just hilarious. Todd Reardon and Mark Bergevin. It would also be coach and GM, respectively. Roman Turek and Jamie McLennan. The goalie is fair enough. Tampa, Freddie Modine, Vinny LeCavalier, Mike Johnson. It starts to drop off pretty fast from there, though, for Tampa. Mighty fast. Ooh, boy, the quality of this team gets thin real quick. It's amazing they would win a cup 4 years later. Pavel Kabina, Corey Sarich. Kabina was a big part of that team. In goal, Dan Cloutier and Kevin Hodson. A real who's that of goaltenders. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Sergei Berezin, Matt Sundin, Dmitry Kristich at the top. Face-off god, Yannick Perreault, Jonas Hoagland. Darcy Tucker was still there. Wendell was still there. Fucking Wendell was still there. Defense, Brian Berard, Dmitry Yushkevich, Tomas Kaberle at 21 years old. Gerald Didick. In goal, Cujo, Curtis Joseph, Glenn Healy, all 5'9" of them also there. And Ty Domi is a healthy scratch. You hate to see it. The Couve, led by Marcus Naslund, club legend Mark Messier, and A-grade douchebag Todd Bertuzzi. Andrew Castles, Brendan Morrison. Really good player in his time. And another, wow, what a hateable team. What a hateable team. I love me some Marcus Naslund, but damn. Defense, Matthias Oland and Adrian Coyne. Jovo Kopp is there as well. Love ourselves some Ed Jovanovski. Goaltenders, Felix the Cat Potvin, and the greatest GM of our era, Garth Snow. Let's see, Steve Correa, Donald Brashear, and Brad May. Mayday as the scratches. And our final team, the Washington Capitals. Chris Simon, Adam Oates, Peter Bondra, Ulf Dahlen, Steve Konowalchuk, Jeff Halpern, Richard Zednick, Jan Bulish, Joe Sacco, future coach. Gonchar leading the way on defense. Shout out to Brendan Witt. And in goal, Ole the goalie. It's Olaf Kolzig. Craig Billington behind him. So there you go. That is your look at what the situation looks like at this point in time. Season 1. We got to get it going. Or do we? I think we can find a way to bide more time.